Thank you for taking time out with Premier Sports Officials Association. Sean Johnston here from Omaha, Nebraska, bringing you 2025 Baseball Umpire Practice number 2 over outs. If you are watching this practice and you have not joined Team PSOA for the 2025 season, please use this QR code with your phone, opening your camera and scanning it, and it will take you to our team registration form. Last week, we went over statistics of strikes and how it changes the batting average when a strike is called versus a ball. This week, we want to show statistics of how the average of runs scored goes up every time that a runner gets on base with the less amount of outs. So once again, we have to realize the impact of an incorrect safe call when a runner should have been out and what it can and will lead to based on statistics. So we see bases loaded, nobody out. On average, 2.5 runs will score in that inning. All right, so take time to sort of process this statistic, and our judgment of out versus safe has material impact on a game, on a pitcher's ERA, on a batting average, and on statistics throughout a season. This is why we make our training tapes. So we put ourselves in the best position with the best rules knowledge and the best training tips to get these out rules correct. We're going to go over force out, the rule, and some mechanics and tips to get it right. Tag outs, the rule, some examples of what to be prepared for so we're not surprised. Then we're going to get into a catch. What is a catch? When is it a catch? When is it not a catch? We're going to simplify infield fly rule. We're going to have a video of first and second, less than 2 outs, and bases loaded, less than 2 outs. Then we're going to go over to 3 types of appeals: batting order, leaving a base early, and missing a base. And then at the end, we're going to go into a bunch of examples of offensive interference. This leads us to force tag, one of the biggest myths of baseball. Tie goes to the runner. Absolutely false. The ball that beats the runner or runner that beats the ball are the only options. There are no ties in baseball. The runner, by rule, has to beat the ball to be safe. So it's all about timing, all right? Timing of what we hear is the importance. So when we hear the ball enter the leather glove, so it is a sound of leather, that is the timing of when the runner has to have their foot on the rubber bag before the sound of the ball on the leather. But we can't call out yet. Timing, timing, timing. That fielder must show the umpire voluntary release and or control of the body before we could actually say out. So the tip, when you have a tight one-sounder call, by rule, out. A coach is going to come out, ask for time, come to the fair foul line. Ask the coach, Coach, what did you see and hear? And the coach most likely will say, well, I have a tie, and the tie goes to the runner. And that's where you have the coach in hand. Coach, I agree with your judgment. My judgment was exactly the same. I heard one sound, and that tie goes to the defense by rule. So our judgment is correct. So by rule, for that runner to be safe, that runner must beat the ball to the base on a force out. So here we have a picture. This will be a one sounder by the time that ball enters the web. This foot touches the rubber. One sound. Have that first baseman complete the process of voluntary release and or control the ball. And this is a strong out call. He's out! Save it till when you need it. but the closer it is, the stronger the signal and voice of out. Now let's talk about tag out. Once again, no ties in baseball. In this case, the tag has to beat the runner. All right? The rule is when the runner is off the base and is legally tagged with the ball in secure control in glove or hand, and that glove or hand has the ball in it, now that runner is out. If that tag is applied at the very same time that runner gets to the base, the rule is safe by rule. So again, coach will have a question. Coaches can come to the fair foul line. Umpires, you can go to the coach, ask the coach, Coach, what did you see from your angle? And if that coach says the tag was at the same time as the runner got to the base, you say, I agree with you. Our judgment is the same. Now, earlier, coach, we talked about force play. Now this is a tag play. Now that tie by rule goes to the runner because the tag has to be when the runner is off the base. Once again, timing, timing, timing. This umpire does a phenomenal job of having the angle. He is completely set. And now, yes, the tag is applied, but we are not calling out right now. This fielder has to show the umpire control of the ball and or voluntary release before we signal out. On tag plays, we're not listening, we are watching the ball. Track the ball into the glove and completely make sure that movement of the fielder's glove is done and they have control of the ball, voluntary release. So watching the ball into the glove, glove into the runner, runner is off the base. Fielder, show me the ball. He's out! Now for catches. Definition: ball secured in glove or hand with full control or voluntary release. Let's talk about what we mean by full control with 3 diving catches. Catch number 1. In the glove. Now he's out. Do not call out when that ball first entered the glove. We must wait until he is done sliding and then he pushes himself up, so that is now he is in control of his body. Out. Ball enters his glove, not control yet. Now we have control. He's out. All right, so whenever we have a diving catch, we are going to give a little bit more voice, a little bit more signal to show that yes, ball entered the glove, remained in control, and voluntary release. We're going to talk about angles over distance. This umpire does a phenomenal job of running to keep the angle so he can see the glove the whole entire time. So a lot of times, umpires don't run to the ball, run away from the glove so you keep vision of this glove and the ball entering the glove. But it is not out until he has full control of his body. Let's take a look at one more play. Ball enters the glove. He's done sliding, push up. Gotta catch, gotta catch, gotta catch. Again, timing, timing, timing. Not yet, not yet, not yet. After he starts pushing himself up, gotta catch. Another type of catch is a transfer. What we mean by transfer is like a double play. So let's take a look at the beginning of a double play. Full speed, line drive, ball goes down to the ground. Is this a transfer or is this a catch? And the answer is this is not a catch. The ball goes straight down to the ground. When the ball goes straight down to the ground, they never controlled the baseball. So umpires, the tip here, it is nothing until you call something. When you see the ball go sharp and direct down to the ground, they never controlled the ball. It probably never even entered the glove. When the ball flutters backwards, that is the transfer. This ball never flutters backwards. No catch, no catch, no catch. We have to practice this so we're not surprised. Ball straight down, no catch, ball's on the ground. This is the importance of selling the communication. It's not your judgment most of the time. It's how we communicate the judgment. And now we're going to look at control. Now we have a flip. What is control for that force out by the fielder we flip it to? Ground ball, flip. Do we control it or not? The umpire says no control, no catch. We're going to take a look at it one more time. For us to have full control, it is secure, clear control and voluntary release. So a lot of times, coaches will send myself a picture with the foot on the bag and saying, how, Sean, can your umpire call my runner safe when he has full control of the ball in the hand? And I'll tell a coach every time, Coach, please send the video. We as umpires do not make calls with a still screen shot because this is not control. We need the fielder to have full control of their body and or voluntary release. And there is no way we have control of the body. Body's still moving, body's still moving, body's still moving. And there's no way a player voluntarily releases a ball that way. Correctly called, safe, juggle, no control, off the bag, ball is on the ground, all the reasons why this is safe. Correctly called, great timing by this umpire, and another good job of moving to improve to get an angle on does he keep contact with the bag with his foot if he were to control that ball. Take a look at this situation of transfer or not. Bottom of the ninth, bases loaded, 3-2 ball game, 2 outs, and the team hitting is down by 1. We're going to have a fly ball down the left field line towards the fans. Reach into the fans. Excellent. Ball comes out. All right, so now this is a very important situation to understand as an umpire. We have to put ourselves, if this is the second inning of a game, not the game-ending play, players are not going to react like this in celebration. They're typically going to run to their dugout. However, in this situation, is this player voluntarily releasing the ball because he is starting his celebration? That is the judgment. All right, so this types of training tapes are for all players, coaches, and umpires. Players, to leave all judgment out of it, complete the process of the catch and show the umpire the ball with control of your body and a voluntary release. This is what we call a 50-50 judgment. And as long as the umpire explains their judgment by rule, they will be supported. So yes, in my judgment, the left fielder did not have voluntary release and full control of his body by the time that ball came out of his glove. No catch, foul ball, add a strike to the count. Or it could have been, in my judgment, the ball was secure in the glove and it was voluntary celebration by the left fielder which caused the ball to come out. Both would be supported, but it is best players leave all judgment out of the umpire's mind and show us the ball before celebrating. Couple other examples that came up of is this a catch, is it not a catch? Ball is thrown to the first baseman, goes off the dirt, gets lodged in the armpit. At the time it gets lodged in the armpit, that is not a catch. A lodged ball between legs is not a catch. Remember, it has to be in glove or hand. So wait until that first baseman pulls it out of his armpit with his hand. Now that's the timing of when he pulled it out of his armpit, secure control in the hand, versus when the batter runner touches first base. In the armpit, no catch. Hits off a teammate. It is not a catch yet. However, it can still be a catch. So if it goes off the center fielder and then the right fielder catches it before it hits the wall or ground, that's a catch. As so long as that teammate has the ball secure in hand or glove and shows the ball to the umpire. Hits off an umpire. If it's a batted ball and it initially hits off an umpire and then it is caught by a fielder, the call is time umpire interference. Award batter runner first base. Only advance other runners if forced. But the question is, what if it goes off the shortstop, then into the umpire, and then caught by the shortstop? And that answer is no catch. Once a fielder touches the batted ball, that umpire now becomes part of the field. So off the shortstop, into the umpire. Ball is live and in play, just like it went off the ground. No catch, but the ball remains live because it hit the fielder first. The big tip about catch, it is nothing until you as an umpire call it something. So if you don't know, you're not sure, wait until the players are done doing everything, process everything. And if you're working with a partner, leave the ball live. When the play is completely over, call time and get together. There are times you can get together and get the call right. With no further ado, catch. Secure in glove or hand before it hits the ground or wall, and then the player shows you full control, voluntary release. Angles over distance, be set, and have good timing. The next type of out we will come across is infield fly. So there's two situations. First and second, less than 2 outs. Bases loaded, less than 2 outs. This rule is made to protect the offensive team from getting a cheap double play. That's why it's first and second and bases loaded, because if the defense allows the ball to land and the runners are near their bases because they can't leave the base until the ball touches the glove, it's an easy double play. So to protect the offense, infield fly, batter is out if fair. So now that protects the runners. They are no longer forced to run because the batter runner is out. So we have a situation, first and second, 2-2 count, and we have 1 out. So we have infield fly situation, pre-pitch. We're putting one finger on the bill of our cap to indicate 1 out. If we had nobody out, we would put our open hand on the bill of our cap to indicate infield fly, nobody out. Part of the infield fly rule is the level of play. All right, so a swing hit into the air where an infielder has ordinary effort to catch the ball. This is a major league game. Again, on the previous slide, we said, look at the base runners. The base runners are going to tell you the judgment. This rule is to protect the base runners. So this is a swing. Ball is into the air, and we have a fielder who is going to be able to catch the ball. Now the question, the judgment, is this ordinary effort? Well, according to the runner on second, according to the runner on first, they're both going back to the base. Yes, this is ordinary effort in Major League Baseball, according to these runners. Now, this could be easily switched if these runners were going forward and advancing. most likely on this drop ball, if the runners were advancing, the defense would only get one out. So we could leave it live and in play as umpires. So use the runners to tell you ordinary effort or not. In this case, these runners tell us infield fly, batter is out. These runners are not forced to advance. They can advance at their own risk, in which case now the runners have to be tagged out because they're not forced to run. Infield fly, batter is out. If fair, protect the runners from a cheap double play. We sort of alluded to a lot of stuff that's going to happen in this play. We have bases loaded right now, and we have a swing, ball hit into the air. We are stating with a hand up in the air, infield fly, batter is out, if fair. Once you hear that as a partner, echo it, because that runner at second base needs to know. That runner at third base needs to know. Runner at first base needs to know. Infield fly, if fair, batter is out. We do not have a fair ball yet. It is not touched. It has landed in fair territory, but it is not touched yet. At the moment it's touched, now the umpire is pointing fair ball and not saying fair ball. He's doing exactly what we train umpires to do, pointing straight to center field, fair ball. So now we have an infield fly, we have a fair ball, the batter is out. So since the batter is out, these runners on first, second, and third are not forced to run. So tagging the base in advance of the runner touching the base is not an out because it's not a force out. It has to be a tag out. And that runner touches home plate before being tagged, safe. All right, we are not always going to signal safe every time a runner scores. But in this situation, it's a special situation. All right, infield fly, batter's out if fair. We have a fair ball. Nobody is out. Nobody is safe yet. Now we have a run. Now we have safe. Good job. Good job by the home plate umpire on that call. So once again, the biggest tip on infield fly. Ordinary effort by an infielder who could catch a ball hit into the air. An ordinary effort, let the runners at that level of ball let you know if you're going to protect the runners or not. It does not have to be in the dirt. It could be 60 feet into the outfield, as so long as an infielder can catch it with ordinary effort, and the runners are letting you know that because they're staying near their base to avoid a double play. Another type of out is appeals. Defense can appeal a batter batting out of order. There's 3 scenarios. If the number 2 batter leads off the game, and it should have been the leadoff hitter, the first batter in the lineup. Time, replace the improper batter with the proper batter, so bring up the leadoff hitter in the lineup, and that leadoff hitter is going to keep the same count. So if the defense coach says, hey, wait, that's the wrong batter, 1-1 count, bring up the number 1 hitter, 1-1 count, play. No penalty. Second, improper batter is on base. So now that second hitter, number 2 hitter in the lineup, he hit a double. All right. Time. They batted out of order. You look at the lineup. Yes, they did. The number 2 batter hit. It should have been the number 1 batter. We are going to call the number 2 batter out. We are then going to nullify all action resulting from the improper at bat. All right, so if there was a runner on base, we're going to move that runner back to where they were at before the hit. Then we are going to identify the proper batter. Since it was a number 2 batter that hit, we call the number 2 batter out. We are going to bring up the number 3 batter. That is the proper batter after the number 2 batter. Then the third situation, improper batter on base and pitch made to the next batter. Improper batter is now what they call normalized. So yes, it should have been number 1 hitting. Instead, number 2 hit. Number 2 hit a double. Now the next batter up, let's say, was number 3 hitter. 1-0 count. Time, they're batting out of order. Time, coach, they're not batting out of order. Since the number 2 batter hit, the number 2 batter is on base. By rule, the next legal batter is number 3. Number 3 is batting with a 1-0 count. No penalty, put it in play. Whenever we have this batting out of order, slow down, think about which of the 3 situations you have, and then properly enforce the rule. Next appeal, leaving the base early. The runner shall not vacate the base till the ball touches the fielder. That's probably the biggest learning point on this play. A lot of time coaches think it's when the fielder catches the ball. And we know as umpire, we have super slow timing on catches. But it's not at the time of the catch, it's at the time of the touch. So if the runner leaves prior to the ball touching the fielder, the runner is at risk of being called out on a defensive appeal. It's not an automatic out. The defense still has to appeal the runner left early. Let's take a look at a crucial play at an end of the game. We have bases loaded, 1 out, and a tie ball game. And there's the payoff pitch. High fly ball, center field, and we're going to pause it right at the time the ball touches the fielder's glove. And now we have the runner off the base. So the umpire's shadow, this is a 4-person crew because it's a state championship game. This umpire is lined up right in a straight line from the center fielder and the third base runner. We clearly see this runner is off the bag prior to the ball touching the glove. All right, so as we play this out, we have safe at home. We have the offense celebrating. They are state champions. But the defense is going to be like, whoa, 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 look at the pitcher. We're going to appeal third base. We're going to appeal the runner left early. And the defense can appeal this up until the last infielder crosses the fair foul line. So again, umpires, timing. All right. Wait until the defense crosses the fair foul line. We are going to have a proper live ball appeal, throw to third base, and the proper umpire who saw the tag is going to call the runner out. This is a live ball appeal. The runner left third base before the batted ball touches the fielder. Third out of the inning, play continues, tie ball game, extra innings. The last type of appeal is missing a base. So for a team to score a run, they must hit all 4 bases in order. First base, second base, third base, home. If they miss a base, the defense can appeal they missed first base, and since they did not touch all bases in order, that runner is now out. So tip, umpires, when you are watching your bases, stick your nose in there. Show everybody you are seeing that touch. 2-person crew, home plate umpire has all touches at third, all touches at home. Base umpire, you have all touches at first, all touches at second. Let's take a look at an easy play. Ground ball to the shortstop. Shortstop throws it to first base. Little errant throw. We don't have a tag. Misses the tag. The runner misses first base. So now the defense, what do they have to do? Once this runner passes first base, by rule, they have achieved the base. So now the first baseman is going to be like, wait a minute. He missed first base. It's a live ball appeal. He touches the base prior to the runner coming back to first base. And now the runner is out on an appeal. So if there was a runner on third base, all right, and that runner on third base scores, touches home prior to this appeal, that run would count. This is not a force out. The runner missed first base, but he went beyond first base. Therefore, by rule, he is safe until the appeal. And then on the appeal, yes, he missed first base. Runner is out, not the batter runner. And if that runner scored prior to the appeal, count the run. The last type of interference we're going to take a look at here in this outs practice is offensive interference. Definition is where we have to start. So offensive interference is an act by the team at bat which interferes, obstructs, impedes, hinders, or confuses any fielder attempting to make a play. So definition of a team is bullpen, dugout, head coach, assistant coach, base coach, anybody by rule that is a team member, trainer, right? The next thing we have to take a look at is any fielder, but we could only protect one fielder. So we can't protect the first baseman, the pitcher, and the catcher. When we take a look at offensive interference, what defender as an umpire are we protecting when it comes to an offensive team member obstructing, impeding, hinder, and confusing? Again, nowhere does it say contact has to be made. It's interferes, obstructs, impedes, hinders, or confuses. Contact or no contact. So our philosophy, this is for coaches and players. To avoid any judgment, this is a judgment call, and coaches cannot argue judgment calls. So to avoid any judgment of offensive interference by an umpire, the offensive player must disappear out of the play. All right, so we have some examples here. All right, so the first one, this batted ball is going between these runners' legs. This is visually impairing the vision of the fielder. So the judgment of the umpire, if that fielder misplays the ball because they lost sight of the ball because this runner blocked the vision of the fielder, that's interference, out. What does my runner have to do? Disappear. Run behind the fielder. Let the ball cross the path of the base runner so it doesn't affect the vision of the defense. It is your teammate who put the ball there. The defense has to go to the ball. The runner does not. That's why the rule is the way it is. We got runner's lane interference here. All right. Again, the ball does not have to contact the runner. All right. This runner is illegal. He's got to disappear. He has to be in the runner's lane, disappear, so this fielder has a vision, a line, the catcher has a line over the bag to throw the ball. Force play at second base. I'm trying to get out of the way, but you did not disappear. Sorry, that is offensive interference. Umpires, when in doubt, it is offensive interference. Get the out. All of these plays are going to turn into safety plays. Let's protect the players and get the outs. Now let's get into more specifics. Runner's lane interference. During the last half distance towards first base, so 90-foot bases, that's 45 feet. 80-foot bases, 40 feet. 60-foot bases, 30 feet. The runners have to have both feet on or inside the runner lane line. Not 1 foot. Both feet have to be on and inside these runner lane lines. Home plate umpires, when you have a runner running illegally, only hold up your left arm with your mask stating illegal. This is not an automatic out. Runner's lane interference still has to impede, hinder, obstruct, or confuse. Let's take a look at a play. Here we see a swing and a squibber, and this is where most runner's lane interference comes into play. We call it the box. So the catcher, first baseman, or a third baseman down the third baseman line is going to come, and they're going to be throwing the ball in a spot, in an angle near where the runner is running. Now this runner has achieved half the distance towards first base. He does not have both feet on or inside the runner's lane lines. He is not out yet. This is where we are holding out our left hand with our mask and saying illegal. This is indicating and showing we have this runner running illegally outside the runner's lane. And then we have a quality throw. A quality throw is where a first baseman has an opportunity to catch the throw without clearly getting off the bag or jumping off the bag. If this throw would have been 10 feet over the first baseman, we would have nothing. This was a quality throw, and this runner running outside the runner's lane impeded, hindered, and obstructed the fielder from catching the throw. Time. That's runner's lane interference. You're out. Runner at second base, go back to second base. Next offensive interference type, force play slide rule. So a force play, once again, is when that batter runner puts the ball in play, and a runner, because the batter runner has to go to first base, has to advance. Runner on first base, force play at first and second. Runners at first and second, force play, first, second, third. Bases loaded, force play, home, third, second, first. So when those runners are advancing, they must legally slide to and through the base or disappear. And disappear means completely run out of the play or slide away from any fielders. So to avoid interference judgment, the runner must legally slide into the base or disappear. All of these two pictures are illegal. We have roll slide because they're on the hips. A legal slide is buttocks, both cheeks on the ground, going straight to and through second base, or the chest. The chest is on the ground, going straight to and through second base. These are both force play slide rule, time. Force play slide rule interference, you're out. Batter runner, you're out. It's not a judgment, it's a penalty. Let's take a look at a play. We have offensive team thinks they scored a run. However, due to this illegal slide on the hip, not to and through second base, but actually towards the fall, time, you're out. By rule, the penalty, batter runner, is out, and you return all other runners to the base they were at the time of pitch. Good job keeping the players safe. When in doubt, umpires, it is force play slide rule interference. Runners watching this, coaches teaching players how to legally slide. You have to practice. 2 butt cheeks on the ground, straight to and through the base they are forced to run. When in doubt, they are out. More offensive interference. We're going to take a look at a foul ball play. We call this the bucket rule play. High fly ball in foul territory. Remember, any team member of this offensive team can impede, obstruct, hinder, and confuse. So a lot of times in youth baseball, we have coaches who like to be on buckets outside the dugout. Well, guess what? You are at risk of being called out for interference. So keep the buckets in the dugout to avoid any judgment of an umpire. So as we play this, yes, he is actually trying to get out of the way. Yeah, I tried to grab my bucket and get it out of the way. Does not matter. He impedes, he obstructs, he hinders. This is an out. So players, coaches, get all equipment, all body parts, including buckets, in the dugouts for your safety, for defender's safety, and to avoid being called out. Umpires, when in doubt, they impede, hinder, obstruct, and they confuse the fielder. It could be a slight adjustment of, instead of a straight path towards the ball, they moved because the coach moved. Out. If everything is in the dugout, a player does not have to adjust to people and equipment in the dugout. First and second, one out. We have a batted ball towards the shortstop. And we have the runner at second make contact with the shortstop. Umpires, number one, notice what umpire's closest to the play? Base umpire. But what's the only umpire that sees this? Plate umpire. So this is interference, and since it's a batted ball, time, that's interference. You're out. Right now, the ball is dead. Now we have to judge, is this willful and deliberate? Because if it's willful and deliberate to break up a double play, now the runner is out, the batter runner is out, and the runner on first base will be returned back to first base. Let's zoom in to see if it's willful and deliberate. A little zoom action, watching the runner at second base, batted ball, lowers his shoulders and makes no effort to not contact that shortstop. That is willful, that is deliberate. Time, that's interference, willful and deliberate. You're out. Batter runner, you're out. Runner at first, return to first base. What happens when the base runner runs into a fielder not willful and deliberate to break up a double play? Time, that's interference. Runner, you're out. Batter runner, award first base and no other base. So at the time this contact happens, we are calling time. That's interference. You're out. Look how close this batter runner is to home plate. We have to award this runner first base. Any umpire can make this call. This is not a double play because it was not willful and deliberate to break up a double play. A double play was not likely to happen. What if a batted ball hits a runner on base? Is the base glue? And the answer is no. We have to go back to the definition of interference. Obstruct, hinder, impede, confuse a fielder from making a play on a batted ball. And to avoid judgment of interference, that runner must disappear. Okay? He does not disappear. He remains in the path of the batted ball, which hits him. At the time the batted ball hits him, time, that's interference. You're out. Now, this is not willful and deliberate, so therefore we're going to award the batter runner first base. In baseball, the base is not glue. And coaches, we are not going to say they have to get off the base. They just have to maneuver themselves to not get in the way of the batted ball. They must disappear. Sometimes that is get off the base. Sometimes that's just move around the base a different way so they don't get hit and impede, obstruct, or hinder the fielder. But it is the offense that put the ball there The defense has to go to the ball. The offense must disappear. A couple more offensive interference that happens quite a bit. All right, impeding the catcher. So this picture shows a foul ball up in the air. That batter must disappear right away. Because if that catcher, while going for that foul ball, batted ball, contacts that batter, time, that's interference, batter is out. Another one is runner on third base, a wild pitch to the backstop. Here comes the runner coming from third. That batter must disappear. He cannot get in the way of the catcher's throw. He cannot get in the way of the pitcher covering home. Wild pitch, tip, communicate to the batter to get out of the way. We're going to take a look at batter interference impeding the catcher from making a play. We're going to see a steal attempt, which I just talked about, and we're going to take a look at swinging strike steal and no swing strike steal, because there is a difference of how we're going to enforce based on the situation. So now let's first take a look at a steal attempt. So in this situation, runner on first base, 1-0 count and 2 outs. Batter swings and misses, strike one, steps over the plate and impedes, hinders, and confuses the catcher. Whenever a batter steps in front of a catcher, contact or not, it is impeding the catcher to make a throw. There's a reason why in football, defense players get 2 hands up in front of the quarterback throwing, and in basketball, defense gets hands up in the shooter's face to affect the shot and throw. So we cannot allow it in baseball. So this is batter interference. Once the umpire calls him safe, home plate umpire, time. That's batter interference. You, batter, is out. All right, since that is the second out, now it's the third out, remind the coach, the next batter out in the order will lead off the next half inning. All right, let's change it. Instead of a 1-0 count, let's say we have a 1-2 count and only 1 out in the inning, because this is going to change the application of the rule. We have a swing and miss, strike 3, batter is out. Since the batter is out and this batter still leaves the box and impedes and hinders this catcher's throw, we still need an out for interference. In that case, the runner closest to home is out. So in this one, there's only a runner at first base. That runner is out. If there was a runner at third base, time, strike 3, batter is out. That was interference. Runner closest to home, out. 2 outs. And you return the other runner back to where they were. Protect the catchers. Anytime a batter swings and leans over, steps out over home plate, and that catcher makes a play, it is batter interference. If that catcher doesn't throw it because they don't want to break their fingers and hit the helmet or bat, that is batter's interference. Batters, you must remain in balance in the box, not leaning outside over the box, to avoid the judgment of interference. Here's the example of a wild pitch, runner at third base. This batter must disappear. He cannot impede the catcher's throw, catcher's tag, and he cannot impede with the pitcher. In this case, yeah, he is telling his teammate, get down, get down, get down. But he is impeding the catcher from making a play. Time. That's interference. Runner closest to home is out, because this is a play at home. All right, we cannot allow them to interfere on purpose and get that runner back to third base, which is close to score. Time. That's interference. Runner closest to home out. If there were 2 outs, then the batter would be out. No run scores. So this is an example of no swing batter interference. So the batter did not swing, so this batter cannot make any movement that impedes and hinders the catcher from making a play on a runner. And number 9, yes, they remain in the box, but they are not swinging. It's a different rule. So they must remain in the box when they swing. But if they're not swinging, any movement that hinders, impedes, obstructs, confuses the catcher from making a play, time. That's interference. Batter is out and return that runner to second base. So coach is watching this. If you have a player stealing and that batter does not swing, teach your batters, do not move at all. No ducking, no nothing. The catcher has to go around the stationary object. If the batter is moving, that is now a moving object, and that's a disadvantage to the catcher and a very dangerous situation for the catcher's hands. Batters do not move if you do not swing and there's a play the catcher is making, unless it's a wild pitch, then disappear. The last type of offensive interference we're going to talk about are collision plays at home. This is umpire judgment. Again, runners, to avoid the judgment of offensive interference out, you have to clearly attempt to avoid contact. I like to compare it to a car. If I am driving and I see a potential accident, collision coming, I am going to slam on the brakes. I am going to slow down. I am going to swerve out of the way to prevent the collision. I am not going to continue the same speed, and I'm definitely not going to speed up and stay in the same path. You have to attempt to avoid contact. When a catcher is blocking home plate, we will cover obstruction next week. You still have to attempt to avoid contact, because even if the catcher is blocking home plate without the ball, if you choose to speed up or maintain the same speed and collide into that catcher, interference supersedes obstruction. Right? So what can players do to show they're attempting to avoid contact? Legally slide, slow down, embrace themselves, stop and or change directions, right? All of these are not attempting to avoid contact. This is going straight to and through the catcher. This is buttocks is off the ground, straight to and to the catcher. This is targeting. This would be an ejection as well in any sport. You cannot initiate contact with the catcher. Let's take a look at a play for full understanding. As we conclude this practice over outs, umpires, strikes leads to outs, outs lead to innings, innings lead to games. Have timing. Let the process of the catch happen. One voice, one signal. And be able to communicate what happened when it happened. What we mean by that is safe. Ball is on the ground. Safe. The runner was at the base prior to the ball being caught. Safe. The runner was on the base at the time of the tag. Or he's out. Ball beat runner. He's out. Tag on the shoulder when that runner was off the bag. Do not anticipate what the players will do. Don't anticipate a good throw. Don't anticipate every fielder catching the easy throw. Anticipate the type of play you will have to judge. Safe out. Voluntary release. Control the body. Foot on the bag. Glove touching the runner. Angles are way more important than distance. Actually, the closer you are to a play, the less you see. Umpires are really close to a play because on TV, they're that good, but they're trying to listen. And with louder crowds, you have to be closer to listen. Our baseball, angles over distance, be able to see the ball enter the glove, be able to see the glove touch the runner. And probably most importantly, be set when the out action is taking place. If you are going to take your camera phone and record and you move your camera phone back and forth, it's going to be blurry when you rewatch it. But when you have your camera phone set on a tripod and when that action is taking place, you see it clearly. Your eyes are a camera lens. Get those eyes set so it's not blurry. Thank you for taking time out with Premier Sports Officials Association over out practices. Umpires, as players are getting outside, practicing fly balls, ground balls, we have to practice out signals and out voices. Safe! Ball's on the ground. On the bag, he's out. Practice. Watch baseball games. Watch old baseball games. How are you going to signal and how are you going to communicate? That is going to help sell your judgment and have everybody believe you on what you saw. Until our next practice over awarding bases, sports officials out there, remember, you're only as good as your last call.